My name is Till and this is Till Talk. All interviews are about the spiritual path, self-discovery, meditation and consciousness. Hey guys, today I'm here with Muni for an interview. We are here in Berlin and we had a couple of satsangs. And yeah, for all the people that don't know you yet, maybe you could introduce yourself quickly, just a few sentences, who you are and what you are teaching. Let's talk till tomorrow.
Yeah, not easy to tell what I am, and very easy. So I would say I am that, and that is what Muni is. Free from the personality and not involved into this illusionary world. And this is what I'm teaching, and that it's very easy to be that, because there's nothing to be done to be that.
My first question for you would be, for those that don't know you, what is it that you are pointing to in the teachings?
The most important thing is where the attention is, and it has to be on what you truly are, then you're fine. So that's the most important thing. And usually it goes astray somewhere in this illusion, focused on objects and not on truth, and it has to be focused on truth, then you live from that.
And when people try to direct their attention, how can they know that they move into the right direction to truth?
That means when they focus on something, they have to know what they are focusing at, as you are saying. So that means they have to have an idea what they are aiming at. And when they are aiming at their true identity, then it has been fulfilled by their attention. So it's so easy. Just to have that in mind and just want to be with your true identity, it's there. But people overlook it. And they have the feeling it has to be something which they have focused or stored in their ideas, in their storage of knowledge from themselves. But they don't need that. They can just open to what they truly are, because we know who we truly are, though in the unconscious. And it becomes conscious the moment you know, or it's recognized. Then when you know who you are, then you know that you always knew it. That was the case in my case.
And you said that mostly we overlook it. Why do you think, what is one of the main reasons why people tend to overlook it, even if it's so simple or maybe obvious?
Yeah, because we are focused on trying to avoid problems and trying to achieve something. So this wanting is one of the most disturbing aspects. So the attention goes there because there seems to be a strong need for the personality to achieve or get something, and that is stronger than this equilibrium of our true identity, which is very free from noise. It's a very subtle quality, and you cannot even feel it, but you can know it, that it's subtle, because it doesn't show itself, but it has an effect on you, which is not so subtle. Subtle sometimes, yes, sometimes the opposite.
And when I listen to different spiritual teachers, they often use different words. Many people use, or they talk about enlightenment, others call it liberation, and mostly when I listen to you, you use the word truth, I think. Is there a specific reason why you mostly use truth?
Yes, truth is what really defines what we truly are as truth, because truth is always there. It never comes, it has to be there in all circumstances the same. So it mirrors best for me what it's all about. And the second word I use for it is freedom.
Yeah.
And freedom because freedom is the freedom from ourselves as a wrong identity. And then you have it in mind what it's all about, free from yourself, not from some outer circumstances or persons or whatever, but free from yourself as the obstacle to freedom and to well-being and whatever else you may think about, what will come out of the right focus.
Yeah. I think also today in the Satsang we talked about seeing the seeing, like as a sadhana, as a practice. And I was curious, in the past when you were seeking, what were your practices that you kind of use? Because some people use, like, do yoga, breath work, I don't know, putting the attention in the present moment. What did you do in the past?
I started very early without trying to start, because I had a deep experience, not of truth itself, because when you have an experience of truth, then you are truth yourself, and it stays as truth. But it showed me, or was a certain opening that always worked underground. Whatever I was doing after that never left me. And years later, I started a lot of body work and noticed that there is a deep relaxation happening when you use the right form of body work. And when after a certain period of body work, I was recommended to visit an enlightened being, I didn't do anything specific to be enlightened, because I didn't think that it was really on the map for me, but that it's for people like Jesus and Buddha and so on. So I didn't have any expectations, went there, and the first evening the Kundalini started rising. What one says what Kundalini is, but it's one's true identity working through the system and leaving the blockages behind. And all of a sudden I was saying on the second evening, I know that one day I will be enlightened. And then this guy said, you can have it now. And then there was a breakthrough. That was the first event for me. And from that event I knew the same moment that the most important thing is what you are focusing on at, and that you have to focus on truth in order to realize freedom. But I didn't do that before. So I can't say I did a certain practice and the reason or the result was enlightenment or whatever you call it, liberation. It just happened, and that was great, because I know now that it is so important not to have any idea about enlightenment, how it looks like, or what you have to do to be it or not to be. So that's what I can say about it.
Yeah.
Second time I had this when I was with another teacher years later. I was in the same position, not expecting anything, because I thought, well, this guy, I just see how he is, and what can you expect from that? And so then it happened finally there, that he tried to guide me to a certain extent into this opening of the wideness and space itself and even beyond that. And then I just saw myself and knew that I have been always that. And that I also knew it, even without consciously knowing it. Yes. So, but then I really checked how to teach the truth, and then from that watching and experiencing and trying to see or what is the result from enlightenment, what is the reason why one is not enlightened, and what is the reason why one can be enlightened, or what has to be done or not to be done. And so this is why I can teach about how to be enlightened without having used these same practices. Funny, or?
Yeah.
But that's how it is.
And how does it come that at the moment when you said, I know that one day I'm going to be enlightened, how does it come that you were so confident about it?
That's just because it was going to happen. There was this confidence. So it was already inside of me that the next moment I would recognize myself, and then I asked this question as confirmation of what's already there. So, but in truth, we cannot really explain why this is the case, because without any knowledge about it before, saying something like this even surprised myself. because this is quite, when you listen to this and you hear it, you think, yes, somebody is really arrogant, yeah, like that. But there was nothing like arrogance. It was just coming out, no time to think about anything. Just came out. It was great. Like a festival. Enjoyment, total enjoyment.
And do you think that it's helpful that people go to different teachers, or would you rather recommend sticking to one person?
It depends on how you are structured. If you can take it, then make use of the teachers and choose the best one out of them. If you're capable to handle different teachings, which you will have to do to be able to, then you can risk it. Otherwise, it's not really strongly recommended to change. So, but I mean, who can say I really found my true teacher? It's really not this easy. But it means when you are ready, when your system is ready, then you will find the right teacher. And even if it's not the right teacher, he can help you in achievement of this what cannot be achieved, this truth and freedom.
And when you went to different teachers or were sent to different teachers, did they have like a similar background that you kind of connected to them, or was it completely different?
The teachings were different, but the common factor is the silence. So this was what I was looking for, because this is the main thing. You have to become silent, and when a teacher can activate that in you, make that possible for you, that's the best that can happen. But anyway, it's always your own silence, your own quality that will be shown by the help of a teacher. So no teacher can give you something which you don't have or which you are not. So you have to be it already, what to do.
And How was it for you with being like with different teachers? Did you learn different things, or was it just like the same thing always?
No, it was not the same thing always. There was one teacher, one of the main teachers who taught energy work, and this helped me to overcome the problem of distance and nearness, to be near to people, to hug people, even experience their energy field and overcome this idea that you have when you meet people by meeting them energetically and then seeing there's quite a difference from your judgment to the truth of how this energy field is, how this person is, how it feels and reacts and so on. So this was one thing, and then of course Advaita was another thing. And after having met Advaita teachers, I didn't go to anybody else who taught something else. But before, I remember now I've been with a heart teacher who showed certain practices in order to open the heart. That I did quite for some time. Yeah. Different influences.
Mm. And all of these different elements, can they be found in like your teachings when you do satsangs?
They can be found during the retreats when we do energy work, for example, there. So also create something from ourselves and not just repeat something which other people have been doing. And Advaita, of course, is being found. And in the heart itself, we don't teach techniques for that, but it's always part of all kind of satsangs which have this ground of silence as a common factor.
Yeah. I was also curious, because you also said that you went to Papaji, right?
Yes.
Because I was also like watching some of his satsangs or reading into some books. How was it for you being with him and being in his presence?
It was a bit similar then to what I was talking about when I said, I know I'll be enlightened one day. It was, there's this ceremony or meeting with him when you arrive there. The first day you can come to him in a separate room after satsang, and then he will say hello to you and he will question you and ask you where you're coming from and so on. And when I was in this room, I saw that he had a band-aid on his left arm, and I just had this spontaneous saying, "Can I give you a healing?" You know. And he said yes, and then I was standing there holding his arm, and while I was holding his arm, he was saying things like, well, I've had this experience. I went to different healers, and that was all nonsense or nothing, because after a while I was the one that was healing them, so I was standing there, okay, let it run through. But then he said, oh, well, it's getting hot and it's getting warm, something is happening and so on. Then you can come to my house and for lunch. And so then I was already close to him. So that was also a common factor with masters when I was with them. It was almost immediately the case that I was close to them. So it was very natural for me. I can't explain it, but that's how it is. And from then on, I could always be in his house during meal times, in the evening, in the afternoon, midday, and after satsang. So all the time I had the chance to be close to him. That was cool.
Yeah, I can imagine. And how old were you by that time? 35
maybe, something like that, or 40. I don't remember exactly. Which role does it play?
I was just curious because you said when you had your first opening, you were quite young, like 18, something like this.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, well, when did you go to Papaji? When did the rest of that happen?
Took quite some years, until I went there. Yeah. But I had deep respect from him because he could really explode from one moment to the next, and I noticed that he did that to some people sometimes. So, and I was not fond of singing a song. At that time he was not so fit anymore, so he didn't teach much. But his presence was the most important factor there. And he could, point any time to you and say, "Okay, you sing a song." I was afraid of that. So that was with my meeting with him. But it was great because after that meeting, I was sick for months. So it had a great effect on me energetically.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that. Not feeling well, not being able to hear much, things like that. It took months until this went to normal again.
Can you maybe also say something about this, like when people feel like sick or have headaches, like after they go to a satsang? Because I think this happens quite often and people don't know what is happening.
Yes, it's sad when people try to avoid this then, when this happens, because it is an opening. Satsang is not just about to feel good all the time, but to really make visible which is on the way of truth. And so it brings up all kinds of stuff, and this can be certain feelings that people don't really want to have, or headaches or whatever. But the case is when you really truly want freedom or truth, then you will go through this. Then you'll know that what you have seen maybe would be good if you had seen before, that it's worth it to stay there and trust the process instead of running away. So these people who are really committed, they will not run away, whatever happens. But if they don't have any idea about truth, it may be that they will have to be at a distance to this and maybe come back to it later. But it's one of the important factors that prevent us from seeing truth is that there are stuff happening in your system, and mostly repressed qualities, and they prevent you from being focused on truth because they distract you. They attract your focus and you get lost in it. So these things, they have to come up in order to overcome them. So if you don't know that they are there, then they will anyway prevent you from seeing truth and realizing it. So it's necessary that it's coming up, and sometimes I say during the satsangs that we are doing the satsangs so in order to make these things come up. That's why we are here. And that's also true. It's not the whole truth, but it's also true. It's also about experiencing quality, silence and equanimity and so on in satsang.
Yeah, because I remember when I came with my brother for the first time, and when we met you and looked into your eyes, it was so intense. And the night after, was just so much headache and
You didn't tell me.
We were also because before we went to India, I also saw different teachers, so a little bit we were used to it. But you were the first one, I think, after we came back to Germany. I was surprised because I didn't expect that.
So that's why you're asking, maybe. In the meantime, that it's important, and that I mean, if something is coming up, it cannot come up if it's not there. So it does never come from the outside or from somebody else, but always from oneself.
Yeah.
So, well, next time I'll close my eyes when we look at each other.
No, I like that. And I was also curious, like, when did you get the name Muni?
With Papaji.
Ah.
At the end of my stay, I asked for a name. And before I had another name from Osho. It was Dian Shikar, which means the peak of meditation. And I told him, you guess what? After this day now, I never thought that I would change my name, but I want you to give me a name. And then he said, well, this Dian Shikar, this is a beautiful name, why do you want to change it? And then I said, okay, this points always to, I have to be on the top and do something for it and to get to the top. So I want to change it. And then he gave me this Muni name.
Yeah, I think it fits very well to you. Mm. But I didn't know that did you also spend time with Osho or
not personally after his
after he left the body.
After he left the body, yes. I was attracted to people who went to him, and through this Michael Barnett we met in energy work. He was also working as a therapist in the Osho field, and so we shared this energy with him, and then I was attracted to other people who also were with Osho. And then I was once in Pune.
Hmm. And from there to Papaji?
From there to Papaji, from there to no other teachers who were... there was this Samapan, he's also now called Soham. Yeah, he's called Soham. He was a guy that was also with Osho and then changed later to Gangaji, became a disciple from her. And shortly before I went to Papaji, he went there too and got the confirmation to give satsang, which is always nice to have from somebody like him. And after he came back, he told me, you have to go there because he won't live much longer. You must really immediately go there. And a few months later, I found myself at his feet in Lucknow.
And is there any difference for you? Like, because you've spent some time in India, like, and then also some time in Germany, or you also said Italy, like just like the culture with like a more westernized background in comparison to more like Indian, like just like how satsang is, how the culture is, how it's done. Are there any differences to you, or?
Not really. I didn't notice that. I just had my focus on truth, and it's almost the same. They do it here and there, over there. And I haven't met everybody in India.
Yeah.
quite some people were giving satsang there.
I still wanted to ask one or two questions. Yeah, also because we were laughing, what kind of role plays humor in like satsang or spirituality for you?
I mean, this is since what is not truth is being taken seriously. It has not to be taken seriously at best, and to be countered with humor. But I have been always humorous in my life. I've always made jokes from the very beginning of when I was 4 or 5 or 6. I already started there. So I'm quite experienced in making jokes, so I can make a joke about anything all the time. It's fun. It breaks the sincerity of truth and this teaching, and it's good to laugh about it because it takes so much, and people are really stressed also by doing a sadhana or something, or orientating themselves towards truth, that it's good to loosen it up a bit. But I don't do it intentionally, it just happens more and more, and I was laughing more and more. I think this is the testament of Papaji. I have the feeling because he was also only laughing, and the same happens to me. So it doesn't take much that I have to laugh. Yeah. Can't explain this.
And I was also curious because I was reading like sometimes German or English literature. Does it make any difference to you when you, because mostly you give satsangs in German, like is there any difference for you when you talk in English or German, just like, just like for you?
Yeah, good question. English is more on the point from my point of view. It's more straight, easier, though sometimes I'm missing some words when I have the tendency to try to translate directly, which is not wise to do, but it happens from time to time. German means I have more capacity to describe things more in detail, make it knowledgeable. But English is more straightforward, more clear.
Yeah, I also noticed this when I read like German literature. It's more like it's, I don't know, like it's more like for the mind, is at least how it feels for me, and like kind of nice to get into it. But when I read English literature, there's just more like not this, there are less words, and it's just like less questions and just more direct.
Yeah, I agree to that. I always, when I read something, which I hardly do anymore, I prefer English. I always try to get the English version of a book. And because mostly the people who have more to say about truth, they're more English orientated, or from that area where English is being spoken. And when I get a book that is has been originally written in English and I read it in German, it's nothing comparable. So it doesn't touch me or get me.
Yeah.
Though the essence is the same, but it also makes sense, or it makes a difference what kind of words are being used.
And another question that I had was, because often at Satsang you tell others that they can kind of tune in with you on Tuesday evenings, right?
Yes.
And this is something that I've also heard from other people, like you can tune in with Osho or Shiva at this time or whatsoever. And can you kind of just try to explain how this works? Like how, for people that don't know about it?
Yeah, first it is very helpful to be in touch or keep in touch to this energy field, and for people who are used to come to me, this is helpful. And it's also good to be available for everybody. So when I sit there, I am convinced, or I say to myself, I am now open for everybody who is with me, and for everybody else also that is right now in silence and in wherever place in the world or universe. So that's from Why do I say this? Because I know that there is no place where I'm not, and everybody else also, not just me. So there is nobody far from me. It's impossible, and it means that consciousness, as the expression of the world, has every detail of everything that has ever happened in itself, and can always connect to it. And there is not really a distance, but closeness, or sameness, or here-ness, we can also say. So this works. So just the idea, just focus on. We are coming back and back again and again back to this focus stuff. Just having something in mind, like also one's true identity or truth. It's enough to have it in mind, that it appears the moment you have it in mind, but you may not notice it. So everybody that wants to be in touch with whatever can be in touch with it, just by focusing on it. That's how it works. And it works well, also healing on far distance does also work. Just knowing the name or imagining the one you know, have seen it or not, whatever, doesn't matter.
So maybe some of your students can't really sense it. Does it help to imagine like a picture of you or your name or anything?
If one might think that it's needed, then it's fine to use it. But usually it's not needed. It all depends on what you think you can.
Yeah. And how is it like for you? Like, I don't know if it's a dumb question, but like it just came up. Like, are you able to sense if one of your students that has been like spent some time with you, that connected to you, are you also able to sense if they have a satori or something?
No, but I notice often that I'm in touch with somebody in the form of I remember his name or form or whatever. I don't have had this knowledge of somebody has in the satori right now. But maybe because he had it or she had it, and I was then reminded of this person, but not consciously. No, I don't consider myself as a medium, but this system knows a lot and does a lot by its own sensitivity. But often it happens just like that, and I don't know why I do things or say things, also in satsang. But I'm not aware of all the details, so I don't consider myself as a medium, and I don't think it's very helpful. It derives the attention too much to things that happen and come and go.
Yeah. Maybe one last question for the end. Oh yeah, this one. What do you think is the true role of a teacher in your experience?
Do not try to force a student, but be silent, and then be a good example for a student to orientate on. Be there. In that sense, there's nothing a teacher has to do. In that sense that do this or that in that or that moment or whatever, or you have to be this or that, but there for the student. And don't live what you don't teach.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you expecting? Because you looked like
No, it's just like hearing, like listening to the silence in between. It's like, Yeah, like it resonated with me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at best, what can a teacher do? Just be who he is, and the student has to find out if he is the same as a teacher in its essence. So it's more from the side of the student than from the side of the teacher.
Approved, as you always say.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your answers. Maybe for the end, I will also put the link to your website in the video description. It's in German, but there are all the events, all the retreats that you're offering. So if anyone is interested, you can also check out his website. And yeah.
Yeah, just in case anybody has an interest, because this is now in English and mainly I'm teaching in German, but it's just the case because English have not yet contacted me or wanted to be in contact with me, so there is this possibility to meet me via Zoom and then getting maybe responded to your questions. Who knows? So just if you're interested, just contact me via email.
Yeah, I can definitely recommend it. Online energy is also pretty good. Thank you for the interview, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see you again.
Thank you as well. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Let's talk till tomorrow.